Hey, what is up guys? My name is Josh and today we're going to discuss and ask the question, why didn't Kylo Ren have yellow, corrupt, Sith, dark side eyes in The Force Awakens? Because obviously he's done some questionable stuff and he is, seemingly really evil, but he didn't have this kind of physical feature that a lot of, Sith and dark side users have, which is yellow, Sith, blood looking eyes. So first of all, let's look into why some Sith do have yellow eyes and why some Sith actually don't. So one example I want to use of a Sith who does not have these yellow eyes is Count Dooku, and I think this is really cool as to the reason why. So the reason Sith have these yellow eyes in the first place is because they become so corrupt and so kind of twisted in what they do that they physically become Sith. They start to get physical features that kind of represent who they are. Darth Maul was a servant of the dark side, a servant of Palpatine, and as a result became really corrupt, and his eyes were just pure yellow, red, Sith, bloody eyes. Anakin Skywalker killed younglings, destroyed the Jedi Order, betrayed the Jedi in itself, and just completely was immersed in the dark side, completely lost his way, out of his mind. He was corrupt. And I think when it gets to that stage of just pure aggression, pure anger, frustration, and kind of naivety, it becomes a point where you're just immersed and corrupt in the dark side. But there are some that manage to keep it down to a minimum. Some people who keep it to to being collective and calm and intelligent and not really angry, and one of those characters that does this is Count Dooku. So I just noticed today that Count Dooku actually isn't really an angry character. He's always really calm, and I think maybe there's a hint of like he misses Qui-Gon Jinn and he misses the Jedi Order slightly, that makes him not entirely corrupt. He never really loses his temper. He's never really angry. He's never full of rage like Anakin was or like Darth Maul was. He's Count Dooku. He's intelligent, and as a result he doesn't really physically look any different. Like, he looked exactly the same compared to what he was like as a Jedi, and that is because he is devoted to the dark side and the Sith and Palpatine, and will do what his master bids or what is right by any means necessary. But at the same time, he doesn't become corrupt like Darth Maul or Anakin did. So it's really interesting the way there's different types of ways you can get pulled to the dark side, and different types that you kind of control that pull to the dark side. And if you go too far, you do kind of become the physical embodiment of the dark side. But I think in Kylo Ren's case, it is a different scenario, because in my opinion, I think the reason Kylo Ren didn't have yellow Sith eyes in The Force Awakens, despite what he had done, is because he did not want to do those things. Anakin, I think when he was turned to the dark side, he became a different person. He changed his ways, he changed his perception on the Jedi, and he killed a lot of Jedi, and I don't think he really regretted doing that at the time. I think he knew what he was doing, and that's that. But I think with Kylo Ren, he did not want to kill his father. He did not want to betray Luke's Jedi Order. He did not want to do any of these things, but he's telling himself that he did. He's trying to prove his loyalty to Snoke. He's trying to stay devoted to the dark side, despite being pulled to the light, which is really interesting, and he's trying to prove himself to his grandfather. Kylo Ren didn't want to do these things, but he felt like he had to, and I think as a result, despite the extent of how bad these things are, he's not going to change physically, because he is who he is, and what he is someone that is on the light side but is trying to be on the dark side, but at heart, that's who he is. He's getting pulled to the light because he is on the light side. To get yellow Sith eyes and become physically kind of corrupt, you have to get to that stage where you are no longer the person you were before. Anakin would not have got those yellow Sith eyes if he was not a different person. The same thing goes with anyone else who's ever been affected by being a Sith or being a dark side user. And I know Kylo Ren is no Sith, and I don't think being a Sith really has anything to do with having yellow eyes. I think it's just a case of turning to the dark side, because Kylo Ren is not a Sith. As so many people point out, he's not a Sith Lord or anything like that, neither is Snoke. But I don't think that really matters in terms of will he physically change. So I think Kylo Ren isn't physically different, and he doesn't have yellow eyes, and I don't think he ever will, because he's not who he thinks he is. He's not who he tries to be. He is not Darth Vader. He is not Anakin Skywalker. He is Ben Solo, and he did not want to kill his father. He tried to prove himself to Snoke. He's trying to prove himself to his heritage and his family, and I don't think he will ever reach this point of insanity or, you know, corruptness, if that's a word, and I don't think he will ever get there. And I think it's really interesting the way, like, you know, you can physically see in some characters how far they have went down the line, and I think it's really interesting to see that, you know, you can see some characters that aren't at that line. Kylo Ren is just a different case in point. He is not evil, but he just tries to be, and he makes mistakes, and I think eventually he's going to turn to the light side. But in regards to why he doesn't have yellow eyes, like I said, guys, I think it's just because he is not evil, despite his effort to be. I mean, that could change. I mean, maybe him killing Han Solo changed things. We only saw him after that, and, you know, he got injured, and we might see more of Kylo Ren just being completely and utterly evil. We might see a change of character in Kylo Ren. It could be really interesting, and he might eventually get physical features that represent how far he's went into the dark side. But in terms of The Force Awakens, that is the reason why, in my opinion. So if you agree with me or disagree with me, let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think the reason why Kylo Ren didn't have Sith physical features in The Force Awakens was because he just isn't there yet? Do you think he will eventually get these features? Let me know. If you want to see what your friends think about this topic, then be sure to share this video. Drop a like rating if you enjoyed, that extremely helps me out. Follow me on Twitter at Qui_GonJosh, and subscribe to me for more regular Star Wars videos. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.